Hi, welcome to the Living in Partnership with Spirit show. My name is Ingrid, your ever grateful host. Thank you so much for joining us. So excited to be here. So excited to have you tuning in and diving in and paying attention to us. We like attention, don't we, Amanda? She's listening in the background, so she'll agree with me. Um, we have I'm really excited about today's show. I've been looking forward to it all morning. I sat down like an hour and a half ago and wrote down the outline for this show. And normally I procrastinate till about 30 minutes before the show to do that. So that's how jazzed I am about what's going on today, because you've got moi. My name is Ingrid Turner. I am the proprietor, founder, host of this show. I am the founder of the Bhava Spiritual Mission, a new religious organization that you'll hear more about as time goes on. And I'm a spiritual medium, which means that I use the modalities of psychic and mediumship to express the divine. That's what we're here for today. So today I get to have a special guest on, Amanda Richards from Mind Mystic Link. So if you're tuning in, you probably know who she is. And if you don't, I'm really happy to be able to introduce you to her. She is a fantastic, she calls herself a mystic medium. I love that, right? Too bad she trademarked it and nobody else gets to steal it, because that's a great term. So she's going to come in and talk today about living your most expansive, expressive, authentic, outrageously wonderful life. And I'm going to talk to you today about the masculine and the feminine dynamic, which in an interesting way plays into what Amanda is going to talk about. And we'll see, you'll see how that goes as we move along and move forward. All right, so before we get started, there is someone I want to talk to you about. It is the company is called Listening to Smile. This is a company owned by Ian Morris. It's frequency-minded music. So what it is it's sound healing. And Ian is an incredible musician. He's a poet. He's a spiritual Renaissance man. And he compiles these sounds and these tones and sells tracks on his website. So if you could go to his website, it's listeningtosmile.com. Go check out his tracks. You can look at his Bandcamp website too. Listen to them, and if any of them really resonate with you, if you decide to purchase them, you can get 10% off any track on his website using the code Ingrid Turner. So that's right there on your screen, just Ingrid Turner with no space. Or here's what's really cool. I love that he does this. He has a join the team program. So it's an affiliate program, which means that you can join his team and he gives you all of the material that you need in order to start doing your own sound healing meditations, putting on your own sound healing meditations for people using his tracks, using his sound healing tracks. So if you really resonate with that and you want to get into spiritual work, this is a really easy way to do it because it gives you everything that you need outside of the box. Okay, so go check that out, listeningtosmile.com, and then circle back around to me and let me know what you think. I would love to know which tracks you really connect with and resonate with, because I wonder if it's the same. I wonder if it's the same as mine. All right, my topic today: how the feminine and the masculine play together, how they interact. So let me start off with a little bit of a personal story. Not this year, but the year before was a really trying time for me in terms of my intimate relationships. Actually, my whole life has been like that. The primary way that I have come to learn about myself and who I am is through the interplay, through the exchange, through intimate relationships with men. Okay, so it's been fun. In fact, confession time, I haven't had a relationship, like an intimate relationship, last more than a few years in my lifetime. I haven't had one of those really long-term 10-year relationships. This just hasn't been my story. It hasn't been my karma, whatever you want to call it. Mine have tended to be intense, fairly short-lived, and explosive. And that was particularly true, not this year, but the last year before that. It's like every relationship entanglement that I got into was exploding on me. Boom, pow, boom, pow. And I didn't know it at the time. I found out recently that at that point, Pluto was squaring my Venus. So you astrology buffs out there know that that means like, oh, it all comes to the surface. Pluto is that dark transformative planet, really digging in and bringing things up for review. And Venus, of course, is the planet of love and relationships and connection. And so that's where all of my relationships, but in particular, my romantic relationships, were really just exploding on me. And it was hard and it hurts. And I couldn't figure it out. And I'm going, what is wrong with me? And so I remember I was driving and I was feeling frustrated by one, the latest sort of explosion that happened. And I went, it was like a month, right? Now, next thing you know, it's exploding in my face. And I guess I threw this question up to the divine. I threw it up. I said, what do I do? What do I do now? And I heard the word so clearly just shoot through my head. And the word was shine. And I went, shine? And then the understanding of what just that word and what spirit was trying to relate to me came into my body. It filled my whole body up. And what that means is the feminine is meant to shine. The feminine energy is meant to lead. The feminine energy is meant to receive. And the masculine is meant to give, to follow, to support. And see, we have that bass backwards in our culture. Okay, we think the feminine is here to give, to serve, to nurture. Nurture, yes, but not to give and serve. And the masculine is here to receive. The masculine is here to, be the hard driving leader and receive the benefits from the feminine. But what happens is in our culture, because we're doing this backwards, because the feminine is always giving, giving, giving. I know I do, because that's what I've been programmed to believe is the right thing for me to do as the feminine, as the woman. Now, feminine and masculine don't always show up in feminine woman, masculine man bodies, but they usually do. And for simplicity's sake, I'm going to refer to it that way just during our conversation here. Okay. So where was I? So what happens is when we're in this reversal of the true roles of the feminine and the masculine, resentment builds up. Why is our divorce rate 60%? It's because we are off center, off kilter with our masculine and our feminine roles. So here's the job of the feminine. The job of the feminine is stand up and shine and be passionate and shine in her own light. Why does a man love the chase? Because he follows the light of the feminine. He follows the light that she is emitting. Without her shining, the masculine doesn't really know what to do. The masculine feels lost. Now, again, the masculine in our culture is also programmed to believe that they are the leaders, that the feminine is the servant, and the masculine is the master. And of course, we're not that archaic anymore in our culture in the Western world, but that element still exists, really does still exist. So how do we switch this? Oh, before I go into that, actually, I have a great story to tell you. So my friend Alan Schaub, who is an astrologer who I will go to see, and if you've been following me around, you've probably heard me talk about him because he's an ace astrologer, and I love the readings that he does because it's like, I mean, you can just see all of the information swirling around his head, and he's pulling from astrology and asteroids and mythology, and giving this really cool complete picture. And one of the things that he says is the masculine leads the dance. Well, on the surface, that flies in the face of me saying the feminine is the leader. And then he told me this great story. He told me or it was an example. He said, my wife tells me she wants to go on a hike. Ooh, okay, so now that gives me the opportunity to go ask my friends, what are good hiking trails? Let's get the equipment. Let's schedule it. Let's make a date. And in that way, the masculine leads the dance. And yet, if you listen to that story, it also holds true that the feminine is the leader. But the feminine energy is not the leader in the strong arm, like make it happen kind of a way. It's a suggestion. It's an enticement. It's an alluring. It's her standing in her power and saying, I want to go on a hike. And having that kind of power move forward and the masculine be able to grasp it and then fill in the details around it. It's like if you read a really good novel, right? The novelist will be writing the story and the novelist will give just enough detail, just enough description of a character for your mind to come in and fill in the blank and create this rich experience for you. Whereas if a novelist, a writer gives you too many details and fills it in for you, it's chunky. It's not as rich an experience for you as if you get to fill in a lot of the blanks yourself. So that's how the two play together. And that's how the two are meant to play together. And that's really, that's a challenging place for both parties to sit right now because we've got cultural conditioning and cultural programming working to convince us otherwise. And so we've got our own internal learning and understanding going, is that right? And are just our base reactions. And as the feminine energy, as a being who embodies the feminine energy, it's very easy for me to turn around and just start serving and just start giving everything that I've got and making allowances and making arrangements for the masculine in my life who I care about, be that an intimate relationship, be that my child, who's my son, who's the masculine energy. That's how that I tend to want that to play out because I believe that that's what I'm supposed to do. And girls need to be good little girls, right? But as soon as you start to shift that energy, and it's not about standing up and going, I'm the boss around here. It's not about that at all. It's about an energy shift. When you start to take your focus away from the masculine energy, and this can be global. This can be, our president, the masculine president, Trump, so take your focus, pull it back from the masculine and bring it into the feminine and start to step into your light, step into your passion, and you start to shine. Watch how the masculine energies around you start to whip into shape. And maybe that sounds really terrible, but they do. They suddenly turn and they show up to serve you. They show up to assist you. Serve is kind of a weird word, but show up to support. That's a better word. Show up to support the feminine energy. So it's up to the feminine to start to redirect that. It's not up to the masculine energy. It's up to the feminine. We need to bring our energy back into self. We need to bring our passion and rediscover our passion and step into that. And then our relationships will flourish, and really the world will flourish because we are flourishing, because the feminine energy is the leader in our version of reality. All right, I'm going to move to another topic here. I'm going to bring on Miss Amanda Richards. Hi, Amanda. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So glad you're here. You look beautiful. I love that background, everything about it. You got a cool plant. That's great. That's beautiful. So Amanda, I think probably a lot of people in this group know who you are already, but just in case anybody's coming on and listening for the first time, can you give us a little bit of an introduction? Who the heck are you? What are you doing here?
Of course. So I work as a mystic medium, and I do a lot of the same work Ingrid does. I do mediumship and intuitive readings that I call mystic readings, and I do them by phone. My business name is My Mystic Link because I link into spirit and I link with the divine to channel messages for you. And I started this work because I lived with spirit my whole life, but it was really something I didn't share with everyone. It caused a lot of fear and anxiety. And finally, it was just my time to speak up. I couldn't hide it anymore. And it was something I knew could help others, and especially others that had gone through the same things I had gone through.
Awesome.
I am today.
Here you are. Thank you so much for coming on and showing us your beautiful face and giving us your beautiful message. So you have got an awesome message to share with us. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bow out here and give you the stage and let you talk to our peeps here.
Today, I wanted to choose a topic that I'm passionate about and something that would also benefit all of you listening. And that happened to be living an authentic life unapologetically. And so what does this mean to me? It means living your most authentic life in love energy, so that no matter how it's perceived by others, you know you are speaking your truth and you can let it be. And when we act, speak, and give authentically from our heart space, we have to trust that it's not personal how others are receiving us. And living unapologetically does not mean being happy all of the time. I mean, that's ludicrous. It means being authentic to who we are. And it doesn't mean that we stop being empathetic. It means that we just need to be more mindful of how we share our truth with others. The truth of who we are and what we know is always changing, as it should. We're here in this lifetime learning and growing, and we're not able to do either if we're living in fear of how others are going to perceive our change and growth. As Ingrid was saying, you know, we have these beliefs, these cultural limits that our mind knows, and we live in a world of cultural conformity. That's just how it is, and it's our basic human instinct to want to better our chance of survival and acceptance in this life, and so our mind acts accordingly. But times have changed, and it's time for us to retrain our minds to catch up so that we can live a better life in this time. Not only is humanity tolerating our diversity now, it's really begging for it. And the difference is that we once thought were dividing us are now, we can see it. I mean, in our culture, in the media, and our day-to-day life, they're building us stronger as one energy. And one thing we all share is love, and that's our truth as humans. It's all that's needed, and it's all that truly matters. So as long as that's there, we're free to be who we're meant to be. And I'm very passionate about this. Everyone who knows me, when this has come up in our conversation at least once before, uh, because it's been the single most important and beneficial skill that I've learned in my own life, in my story. And it's what I see needed most in society today. My life changed completely when I decided to take control and responsibility for myself. And when I began to say no to what and who no longer made me happy or would no longer support my future happiness. And beginning in this new way of living brought me so many opportunities, so many people, so many beautiful souls, and meaningful work like I get to do now. And I am by no means saying I've mastered this skill. It's something I know I will incorporate mindfully into each day of my life. But today I'm happy and empowered, and I want you all to feel the same way. And I will share with you the most recent time I have mindfully used this skill was for this show today. I wanted to write myself notes to speak. And because if you know me, I tend to go from here to here to here to here. Oh, yeah, let's go back here and finish this story, which can be okay when I'm giving readings. I'm getting guidance from spirit. But here, I really wanted to keep it focused and not take you on a ride. So, and my story that was playing, the shame story was, if you're going to be speaking, you don't need notes. Nobody else needs notes. They can stay in line. They know what they're talking about. And I said, forget it. I want to be here. I want to be happy. I want to enjoy it, because then you'll be able to enjoy it too. That's my energy that I'm sharing with you. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with needing a little bit of help. So, and I want you all to recognize your own inner power and light up the world with it. It's just too easy for us to give away our power and spend time worrying about how we fit in to our culture, how we fit into our families, our friendship circles, and even our relationships. So this way of conforming that I'm always picturing as cattle, being branded and herded, it doesn't allow us to change or grow, and doesn't allow us, and it's not allowing the world the change and growth that it needs energetically. So how will this affect you personally? What are the benefits? The personal benefits of living your truth: you'll be more energetic, you'll be more joyful, loving, and content with the life that you're living. You'll be better able to respond to life instead of react to it. And when you share your authenticity through your character and your behavior, your relationships will improve. You'll find more meaningful work, be that inside or outside of your career, and you'll trust that you're loved. And that's the most important part. Sounds super simple, but it's the basis for everything, because having that trust and faith that you're loved gives you the permission to explore and discover and grow and evolve as a human. And when I was writing out this message for you all, I started thinking about toddlers. And if there's anyone that lives unapologetically, it's toddlers. They're always freely expressing their authentic self. Their excitement for life is limitless, and they trust that they're going to be loved and cared for no matter how many tantrums they throw in inappropriate places. I'm a mom of 3, so I've had quite a bit of experience with this. And sometimes I am jealous of that. They sleep well, they make friends easily, and they'll always tell you exactly what they want and when they want it. The only thing they haven't discovered is how to reason and respond to their environment. And we were once these toddlers. We were born with this skill that was just culturally stripped away from us. So not only do we have the ability to live like them now, but we can live better than them because we now have the ability with our adult minds to not react, but mindfully work with our environment. And it majorly impacts others. When you're living authentically, you're in charge of your life. The more you live in your truth, the easier it is for others to do the same. You're giving them permission as well, unspoken permission. And we're all energetic beings. So we're going to naturally match our vibration with the people we spend the most time with. We're going to match the highest vibration, be it good or bad. It's just the highest vibration brought into the room, into our presence. And so you have the ability to up level, to lift that vibration. What you're bringing into the room, if you're living authentically, you're high vibing, and it's only going to expand and get brighter. And you're going to be able to gift that to others. And just by living your truth, just by living your own truth. And I think one of the issues we deal with in relation to others and to sharing our truth is we're afraid to be too happy. We're afraid to share our happiness with others. And this is to no fault of our own. I really do believe it's just ingrained in us through the media, through our culture. It's just the way it is. But again, it's retraining your mind. We don't have problems sharing our issues and our fears and our anxiety with others. So growing and gaining in this life, it's not going to help anyone else by minimizing yourself and by lowering your vibration, your truth, by stifling your truth. You're only going to feel guilty instead of confident and proud like you should feel. And that is not the same as being boastful, not at all. People won't have the opportunity to see that change and growth is possible if you're holding back. And that may be the very thing that they need to see and feel from you. So don't ever feel guilty about sharing your happiness. And this doesn't mean that you're talking about yourself and all the great things happening in your life and everything you've bought. It just means your energy is high and that you're willing to show up in your truth and share it with others. It's something, so I've learned this in my life as a medium, that we play a very important role in the lives of others. And I mean, we're intertwined big time. And not only when we're happy, living unapologetically, like I said, doesn't mean being happy all of the time. So sometimes we have to say or do things that we know have potential to hurt others' feelings or anger them. And I'm not talking about arguments where you're reactive. And I mean, you may have to apologize for those things. I'm guilty. Okay, but trust that you're playing a part in their life, and that will lead to their change and or their growth. And know that if you deny your truth and you don't say or do what feels right to you, they may not see or feel that need to change. That could really improve their quality of life and allow their soul to grow, to do its job that it came here to do. And globally, I mean, if you're happy, you will leave a mark everywhere you go. In every project you take part in, and every person you communicate with, your personal growth and love will expand humanity as a whole in more ways than you can imagine. And it's really simple to start. It may seem scary, but I promise you, as long as you start and show up, you can do it. So a simple place to start, you don't need to constantly be explaining yourself, your life choices, or your behaviors to others, because this can be a way of apologizing for living your life and handing over your control to them, saying, you must know better than I do how to live my life. If you won't let them make your life choices for you, then you have no reason to guilt yourself over their reactions to yours. So I want to share this question that an author, Daniel Gilbert, posed, and it's, what would you do right now if you learned that you were going to die in 10 minutes? I love the intensity of this because we're used to hearing the 10-day question. And we start by choosing things we'd want to do, but then we think, well, how would they feel about that? Would I spend enough time with them? These 10 minutes, you're not going to ask anybody for permission. You're going to do exactly what you want to do, and you're going to do it in a hurry. And I love how this doesn't give others permission to make your choices. It puts you in the right mindset. We can't live our whole lives by this 10-minute question, but it is an interesting way of questioning yourself when you can't quite tell if you're making a choice for yourself or for another. So if you could quickly put yourself in that mindset, I think it would help a lot. And show up in your life. Show up in your life for you. Say no to what doesn't feel right. It sounds really easy, but it's not. And that little thing, that little note right there, saying no, is what saved me and grew me at the same time. Say yes to what does feel right, no matter what anyone else thinks. Just try it. Say yes. And walk away from things that no longer fit into your life. Sometimes that's people as well. Speak up for what matters to you, even if it's hard or embarrassing to do. It isn't always easy. Growth isn't easy. I mean, it's hard to strip away from things that once comforted us. But I can tell you, you'll feel so much lighter and brighter by doing so. And it does become easier and will soon be your natural way of life. And you're going to retrain your mind. So I think about all of those times you've been called weird for something you said or wore, something you did or believed. And know that these were purely authentic moments of your life. And I hope you have the courage to be weird again and again and continue to be unapologetically you. So thank you so much for letting me share this message with you guys here today. I really enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, please ask. If we can't get to them here, then I'll reach out to you later.
Thank you, Amanda. Oh my God. Do you know how good you feel when you talk? It's like listening to you. I'm sitting here in the background going, yeah, absolutely. And I know everybody listening and everybody viewing you is having that same reaction. So thank you for coming on and sharing your gift and your energy with us and giving us that awesome talk about. I love that you not only talked about this truth of being authentic, but you give us some really concrete ways to go about that too. And that was really beneficial. That was beneficial for me. So thank you.
Oh, great. It's my pleasure.
So we have one question that I want to ask. And the question is from Lynn. And Lynn says, well, this is really about the feminine and masculine energy. She says, while this resonates, how does one lead if they are already in the masculine space, not sure how to make that move? So Lynn, I think what you're talking about is if the feminine is living in the masculine space. And that's a really good question. So it's like you're living in this give place that so many women are living in. How do you make that move? And the trick is not to do a thing. The trick is to bring it back into self. The trick is to bring it back into commitment in yourself and readjust your energy. And a really easy way to do that is take all of your focus off the masculine activities, like give, 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 and bring it back to self, nurture. Nurture yourself first, and then you can nurture other people. Shine in your own light. Start doing things that make you feel good. Start doing things that put you, like I'm just going to tie it in with Amanda's talk right here, that launch you into your authenticity. Because when the feminine energy is giving, 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 she's not being authentic. She's going to get into resentments. She's going to get exhausted. She's going to just absolutely plummet. So bring it to self first. And your authenticity may be in giving and nurturing and in that feminine role, but you won't get into that authentic place until you give it to yourself first. So, one of the things that a big topic for when I do readings is relationship stuff, because relationships are important. They're a huge part of how we're here to learn about self and about and expand our experience, for in some really beautiful ways and in some really challenging ways. And I usually hear about the challenging ways, and we kind of dive into that energy. And what it usually almost always comes back to is who's in the masculine space, who's in the feminine space. And it's about helping the feminine come back into her own space and come back into her own and really step up and get into her passion and shine. So I hope that answers your question for you, Lynn. And if it still is unclear, then go ahead and leave a comment and we will certainly get back to you. I'll work to clarify that. Amanda, can you tell us how we can contact you if anybody listening wants to get in touch with you?
Absolutely. So you can find me on my Facebook page, My Mystic Link, and my website is mymysticlink.com. And you can find my email link from my website as well.
Awesome. So you're pretty easy to get in touch with. I am also all over the web. So yeah, I'm right here. I'm the admin of this group, Living in Partnership with Spirit, if you're listening to the show here. If you're listening to the show out on the webs outside of this group, listening to the replay, I encourage you to join the Living in Partnership with Spirit group, because this is where you get to interact with us live and ask us questions and, bug us while we're doing our thing. We like it. Like I said, it makes us feel important. I'm also on Facebook, Ingrid Turner, and you can go to my website, which is ingridhturner.com. Don't forget the H in the middle, ingridhturner.com. All right, Amanda, thank you so much for coming on again. I absolutely adore you, and I'm looking forward to continued stuff like this. All right, and if you're listening in, go check out Amanda, go follow her page, give her some love, tell her how great you think she is. Okay, all right, thank you all.